Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mythologia. So this is the last story that I'm going to tell you in our little Greek and Roman unit that we've been going through. And I like to sort of move from the super familiar stories, so like Hercules and Perseus, and into like maybe a little bit more obscure stories for you. And so, if you've read Rick Riordan's Heroes of Olympus, some of this story might seem a little familiar because he does base one of those characters off of Meleager. But if not, some of this might seem very different. So it's going to be a quick little overview here, just so you know this story. If we would have done this in class, there's a good chance one of you would have told this story as one of your projects. But I don't want to miss out on the opportunity to at least expose you to this material just in case. Okay. So the story of Meleager and Atalanta is actually two stories, but they're interconnected, right? The way the story gets going starts with a guy named Meleager, who is a little bitty baby, born under special circumstances, much like many of the other heroes. But his circumstance is that as soon as he's born, his mother is given this prophecy that says this child will only live as long as this brand of this piece of wood, okay, this piece of wood is still in existence. Now, the problem is this particular piece of wood that's being spoken of is currently in the fire right in front of his mom, okay? And so as soon as she gets that prophecy, she loves her son. She's dedicated to her son. And so she just rams her hand into that fire, pulls out this burning piece of wood and kind of puts the piece of wood out, effectively doing what? Saving her son's life, right? And so she then takes the piece of wood, sticks it into like a sealed box, okay, and puts it away, locks it away. And essentially, what she's now done is made her son immortal, okay, or very nearly so, because a piece of wood will eventually decay, but if it's truly sealed and there's no air getting into that wood, I mean, we're talking that piece of wood could last for a very long time, and nothing else can kill him. Okay, it doesn't matter what else happens to him as long as that wood is okay. So he grows up to be quite a striking hero because he's basically like an Achilles without a heel, right? Like he has no physically vulnerable point on him, right? And so everything goes pretty good with Meleager until his dad kind of makes a mistake with the whole like sacrifices to the gods kind of thing, which happens, pretty often in mythology. What he does is he makes sacrifices to all the gods, but he forgets about Diana or Artemis, right? And so since he does not sacrifice to Artemis, Artemis gets really upset. And since remember that giant boar that Hercules had to fight, sends that giant boar in and starts killing everybody. Okay. And so Meleager ends up leading a boar hunt with a band of heroes. So he gets basically the Argonauts. Okay, that's like anytime you have band of heroes, essentially it's those guys. They come together and they are going to take on this boar. Okay, who he also brings along is Atalanta. Okay, Atalanta is the only female Greek hero that is that really gets any kind of attention whatsoever, which is very significant for an ancient culture to have a female hero that is of any kind of prominence was a big deal. Okay, so Atalanta, only female Greek hero, and she is known as the fastest runner in the entire world. She's like girl Flash, right? And so, to add to the appeal here, not only is she an incredible hero in her own right, she's also been on other voyages like Jason the Argonaut. She's often included in that group, but she also has a little thing with Meleager. Okay, they've got like these unspoken feelings for each other. So not only does he want her because of her abilities, but he's kind of got the hots for her, right? And so she comes along, and they're going to take on this boar together because there's nothing better as a first date than fighting a giant boar who's killing everyone in your kingdom, right? And so they come together, they're going to fight. Now, the deal with the boar that makes it so difficult is it's incredibly fast, okay? And so no one can really get a shot on this thing because he's so quick and that they can't catch him, right? But who's the fastest runner in the entire world? That's right, audience that I can't see. Atalanta, right? And so Atalanta is able to keep up with the boar, and she pulls her bow, shoots him down, deals that death blow. Okay, so he's wounded, he is dying. Meleager then comes up, chops off the boar's head, and then presents it to Atalanta. Okay, because the head would have been the trophy piece, and since she was really the one responsible for this, he felt that she deserved to have the trophy. Plus, remember, he has the hots for her. Okay, so some guys bring flowers, some guys bring severed boar heads, to each his own, right? So he takes this and says, "Oh, darling, please take this bloody boar head, and as a token of my love and affection." And so there's a sweet moment going on. But then his uncles show up and they're like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! You can't give that to her. She's a woman." Incredibly sexist, incredibly wrong, but product of the times, okay? And so they rip the boar head away from her and say, "She can't have this. She cannot deserve it." Well, Meleager's upset, and rightfully so. We understand it. Like he, this is not right. This isn't the way you treat people. How he reacts, though, might have gone a little bit too far. Okay, he says, "No, she needs it," and he pulls out his sword and just kills both of his uncles, and then presents her the boar head. So now they're having this lovely moment where like his two dead uncles are laying on the floor. They're bonding over this nasty, gory boar head, and they walk off into the sunrise together. That's how I picture it. Okay. Meanwhile, the brothers, his uncles, they're taken back to the castle. Now, these uncles of his were the brothers of his mom. Okay, remember the one that like hardcore sticks her hand into the fire and brings out the piece of wood, right? So they're being brought back into the kingdom, and she's watching from the tower and looks down and says, "Wait a second, how did my brothers die? I was told that no one was harmed after the boar was killed. What happened? I thought they survived." And they said, "No, the boar didn't get him. Your son just went insane and like just stabbed him to death." Well, now she has this conflicting thing going on because what does she do? She loves her son, but she also was really close with her brothers. Who does she love more? Well, I guess she decides she loves her brothers more because she reaches into that box, pulls out the piece of wood, chucks it into the fire. So now Meleager and Atalanta are having their lovely, like, blood-infested date as they're walking with this severed head and this dead body's been dragged away, and they're walking into the sunlight. He just dropped his dead. Okay, end of Meleager. So that doesn't work out. So Atalanta had every intention of marrying him, but now that option's gone. And so Aphrodite appears to her and says, "Listen, you should never get married because if you get married, marriage is going to ruin your life." And so you would think that that would just be what Atalanta then does, just does not get married, stay single, whatever, which is what her intention was, okay? But the problem is that she's just so incredibly beautiful that guys cannot help themselves. And every single day, some person is throwing themselves at her feet saying, "Please, please marry me." And it's really getting old because she's having to tell every single one of these guys, like, "Listen, marriage is going to destroy my life. I can't marry you." And no one listens. So she decides she's going to set something up that she thinks is going to deter all these men from pursuing her. She says, "Listen, I will marry any man who can beat me in a foot race. But if you lose, you have to be killed." And I don't know if she killed him or if, somebody else did the killing. I'm not really sure on that. You can choose to believe whatever you want in that part of the story. Either way, these guys would die. And you would think that would keep guys away because she's the fastest runner in the entire world. No one stands a chance. They can't beat her. Doesn't help, though. Does not help. Because every single day, guys line up and say, "I want to race you. I want to take you on because I know I can beat you and I love you and I want to marry you." And every single day, she wins. Their heads are cut off. Okay? But that doesn't stop it. It doesn't stop it. People keep coming. And every day, she's got to run this race and kill these guys. And they don't stop asking her. Okay? Well, there's this one guy, Hippomenes, who has been chosen as the judge, okay? And so he stands, and basically he's just the one to see who crosses the line first. And it's a really easy job because Atalanta always crosses the line first. But he's standing there, and he's watching as she passes the line, dude's head gets chopped off. And every single day as he watches her, he cannot help but fall madly and deeply in love with this woman who runs and then kills men. And so he goes to Aphrodite and says, "Listen, I need your help. I need to appeal to the goddess of love because I know that we're meant to be together, but I can't beat her. There's no way I could beat her. I can't run faster than Atalanta, but I know we're meant to be together because I've seen her kill so many other men, and it's just, Atalanta, right?" And so she's like, "All right, I'll help you. I'm going to give you these 3 golden apples." And what these golden apples work at, like, it's almost like they're bewitched, okay? So they're enchanted apples that cause anyone who sees them to have to go and pick them up, okay? And so what would happen is if I like saw one of those apples, I would have no choice. I would have to go and I would have to grab it. Okay, so he takes it. He goes to Atalanta and says, "Listen, I want to marry you." And she's like, "Hippomenes, we've had this thing. Like, You're the one constant in my life. You're always there every single day. You watch this happen, and secretly she does kind of have a thing for him, right? But she's like, I can't do this because I have to stay true to who I am, and I will beat you, okay? And you will die. Don't do this. He's like, no, don't worry. I got to figure it out. She's like, all right, fine, we'll do this, but I got to get somebody else to judge all these races, all right? And so they line up, they start running, okay? And Atalanta, of course, just like blows away. But Hippomenes takes his first apple, chucks it, okay, and she sees it, she runs off, and that gives him a chance to kind of get ahead, okay? Well, then she's Atalanta, though. So as soon as she picks up that apple, kind of snaps out of it, she's back ahead, and she gets ahead again. So he takes it, chucks another apple. She runs aside, same thing. He kind of gets ahead, and then she comes ahead, and he's getting ahead of him again. So he has one last apple. Right as they're about to cross the finish line, he chucks the apple to the side. She goes off track. He crosses the line. They rejoice because he finally beat her, and therefore they're able to get married, and everyone's happy, but they forget to tell Aphrodite thank you, and so she curses them and turns them into lions, and they pull her chariot or a chariot for the rest of their lives. The end. I'm so glad that Greek stories end so happily. Have a great day, guys. Make wise decisions. I will see you. I don't know. You'll probably see me next week. Merry Christmas.